Good evening, everybody.
Happy Sunday. Happy day 7.
We have the whole family here.
We do. All three of them. Well, Peru just left.
Peru just left.
She was just here a few seconds
but
ago.
Saba is
He's literally right here.
below you guys.
He's like right here. We can see him underneath. And now he wants to play. He's like,
There he
he's
is.
right there. There he is. I get Saba. This is where I work all the time at home. And I get Saba all the time on my desk, lays in front of it. It's really just it does interrupt me sometimes because sometimes he's blocking the person who I'm interpreting for, and I'm like, Saba, I can't see what they're saying right now. Do not chew wires. No, that you cannot do. You cannot.
I'm moving you away now.
Yes, because now he's getting frisky. Well, that's not the right word. What happened there?
They're all three together.
Oh no! Oh no! Oh no! Oh no! Oh no! Good evening, everybody. Happy Sunday. Hopefully, you guys are having a great day. I can't believe it is already day 7. Can you believe it's been a week? It's been a week of an official week of commitments and interacting with people online, and it's just been absolutely beautiful. But before we even get into that, we have some announcements we want to make, and even before we get into this evening's topic and show. So,
no, do that first.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So first things first, can you believe it? Nick and Jean-Luc did not cancel one step class this week, except for Saturday, but it was already pre-canceled on the calendar because because of the wonderful things he does. I'm sorry I had to do it. I just had to for all of you Wizard of Oz fans out there and Wicked fans, because yesterday we had massages and that was something that was already pre-planned. And guess what? That's part of being good to yourself, right? That's self-care. And we know we need them. I need them. Nick needs them, especially with the amount of activity and workouts that we do. So we had that.
We tracked all week. So
we tracked all week.
Our score is included. So if you guys have seen on the dashboard, I've added some new stuff on Friday. So I will actually load it up and show you guys before we keep going with that. So I'll show you quickly what I added, just so you guys are aware. And it's also letting us to see how well we're all doing. So if you go to the dashboard now, if you scroll down, it actually shows you Kickstart Challenge stats. And below that, it shows you all the stats of Kickstart. So for example, we have 784 people registered. 111 of you are diamond status, meaning you submitted all your trackers every single day so far. 91% of you are silver status, 19 of you are bronze. And so far, all of us have lost 92.4 pounds.
Isn't that crazy?
So all of us who've been tracking our weight, we've lost 92.4 pounds as a group, as a collective.
As a collective, which is absolutely amazing. It's amazing. And so even us, we weighed in on Saturday. I actually looked at my weight and I'm down 3 pounds from last Saturday, which is amazing. Total of 13.3 pounds since January 1st. And a few people even have said on the videos that we've had, that's a lot of weight for that first.
And our faces and the shirt fits again.
Oh yeah. And we understand.
Fits again.
we have to really, first of all, think of things differently, right? First of all, we're men, and as much as I hate to say that, men tend to lose weight faster than women. It's just a thing that happens. I hate it, and I'm sorry, ladies. I wish I could I wish I could just throw that magic towards you guys and say, let them lose weight equally. It's just not fair. But I have no power. I'm not the wizard. Unfortunately. I'm not from the Emerald City. But I think what ends up happening, though, is we also understand our bodies. We also understand it's not always going to be like this. We really have to explain to people that, okay, the last couple of months we've been eating nonstop. There was no portion sizes. There was no measuring of anything.
We hadn't been doing stuff for a while.
We hadn't been working out or being physically active. So it's funny how as soon as you start adding these things in, of course, the first couple of weeks, you might start seeing a huge change and a huge drastic change on the scale, but also it also depends on how much weight you have to lose as well, right? If you are someone who has more weight to lose, it might be easier to get that weight off at the beginning but don't give up when you get to those, and I'm not using the P word, when you get to those maintenance modes, because I'm not using plateau. We don't like that word. When you get into those moments where you need to learn how to maintain anyways. So sometimes maintaining is just as good as losing. It actually is the best because eventually you have to learn how to maintain
And
forever.
what's cool about seeing the stats come up is I've seen a lot of you track your progress, and some of you have been sharing. We haven't gotten all my commits already. I haven't either. I was actually going to show you guys. I'm being honest with my tracker, and I was going to show you guys what mine looks like right now because yesterday we weren't able to do certain things yesterday, and I was like, I'm not going to lie. I'm not going to lie.
Why would we lie?
And we're trying to show you this because Kickstart, again, is not about getting 10 commitments.
No.
So I've seen a lot of people sometimes post on the group saying, oh my God,
I'm having a bad day.
9 out of 10 today, or I only got 3 today. It's okay.
So change the narrative. I did 3 today. I got 5 today. I'm so proud of the fact that I was able to do these 3 or this 1. That's the important part.
So as you can see on screen, my status is 100% diamond because I submitted my tracker every day. But you'll notice I didn't do, all of my commitments every day. I'm 5 out of 6. And why? Because one of my commitments was teaching step. We didn't teach step yesterday. So I didn't do it. I didn't check it off.
Does that mean weights with it either? So that's another one.
Does that mean that makes me any less, strong than anybody else? No. And this is not about getting perfect score on your commitments, everybody. And we want to re-emphasize this again and again and again. It has nothing to do with that. It has the fact that you're tracking.
And you're being conscious of all the commitments, even though you're not accomplishing them.
Exactly. So for some of you who might have missed some commitments this week, you might and now remember them a bit better now. The things you're trying to do, you are top of mind every day because you're crossing them off every day. So now these things are coming. I have to do this today. I have to even Jean-Luc, like my vitamins.
My vitamins. Did I take them today? Yes, I took them at lunch. Yay!
That's the thing. Because now these are being written down and you're tracking them every day, you're starting to remember them more. And as the weeks go by, some of these things will become habits for you.
Yeah.
And that's what Kickstart are about. It's not about getting perfect score on your commitments. It's about doing them and having the things that you struggle with on your commitment list so that you can learn new things and be able to achieve new goals.
Which leads into my next thing I want to talk to you guys about is the fact that today was your day that we were allowing you to say, okay, let me check my commitments and let me adjust them because you know what? Maybe I picked something that was a little too challenging. Guess what? I did too, everybody. I changed 2 of them. You remember my cleaning my closet and pantry 15 minutes a day? I said I'm removing Saturday and Sunday because we do stuff Saturday and Sunday. And I'm not going to say, oh, Nick, by the way, I'm going to go clean my closet for 15 minutes. No, we do other things. So I'm doing it 5 days a week, Monday through Friday. Another thing as well was there was one more thing that I forgot, and I don't remember what it is, but it's in my book.
I didn't change any of mine. Mine remain the same.
Yeah, but there's one more, and I can't remember what it is, but I'll post it in the group. Pantry, closet, but there was another one, and I can't remember. I don't have my book in front of me, but I changed it. Oh, reading my book. I'm reading my book 15 minutes a day. We spend all the time together on the weekends, but during the week, I have more moments where he's at work, where we're both working, where I can like put my headset on for 15 minutes or 10 minutes and listen to my audiobook. But I'm proud of myself. I listened to that audiobook. I'm reading Let Them right now, and I'm learning a lot about myself and others. So it's really, I'm very pleased with saying I could do it 5 days a week instead of 7 days a week.
For those wondering about Maui, he's doing better. As you can see, he loves being pet right now. See, he's going to lick me every time he puts butt right now. He gets all like, oh, thank you so much. He hates wearing his onesie. He hates it. Every time we take it off, it's a whole yelling match when we have to put it back on. He's not happy, but he still loves us.
We're hoping this habit for him continues afterwards because usually it's bite, bite, bite instead of lick, lick, lick. So fingers crossed.
For those of you wondering about tracking, it's all on a dashboard. You have to go to the stats page to see what you've submitted. So if you go to the stats page at the right below your own stats at the top, if you scroll down again, and I'll show you guys again on the dashboard. So let's go right here because then people are asking the question. So if you go to your dashboard, you click Access Dashboard and you scroll down, it says, See My Stats. You click on that, it'll load up your statistics. If you scroll down at the bottom, It'll show up and they'll show you what you've submitted every day so far since you started Kickstart. So if you have a day that's all zeroed out or says no, no, no across, that means either it wasn't submitted correctly, or some people have been submitting the same date twice by mistake. So by mistake, you submitted the 15th twice. That's happened a few times for some people. So if you don't know what you've missed, come here and you'll see what days you're missing, and you can fill in the gap by going back to your tracking page. So again, go into the dashboard, you go submit
Tracker.
my tracker. So right here, track my commitments. You go right in here, and then you go back and submit the days you're missing if there's any dates that you're missing on your tracker. And what's cool about the stats so far is I've been able to actually really tabulate some stuff, and I can actually tell you, on day one, a quarter of our Kickstart members tracked on day one, which is amazing. Overall, almost a quarter of you have been tracking consistently since we started last week. So I know this number is going to change and fluctuate, but it's nice to see these numbers. And every day I update it, so you'll see the numbers go up as we keep going throughout the Kickstarter.
Can you believe so far we've collected 5,166 ballots for the prizes at the end? Can you believe it? I can't believe it. I'm like, oh my God, we're never going to have a wheel of names large enough for all these ballots.
I
know, I'm just
I
teasing.
use something different.
I'm teasing. There's another thing that we want to announce too, because we've been thinking about it and we thought, you know what? We're already going to announce it, but for the spring and summer kickstart that we're going to have starting in April, your orientation week, actually, you're going to have your commitments ready for the orientation week, the beginning of orientation week. And you'll have that entire week to test out your 10 commitments to see, can I do these for the next 6 weeks afterwards? So technically, it's going to be 49 days of commitments, but your 1 week is going to be tester. And then on that Sunday before we go into the week 1, you're going to be able to change your commitments, finalize them, and then go the next 42 days with those commitments.
Another thing for spring summer is the actual orientation week will be in your book this time.
Yes.
So there'll be actual things in there to teach you how to do certain things. We're going to rework that so you guys can learn how to join the dashboard a little easier, find your sidekick, your buddy. So that's all coming in for spring summer, which starts in April. Registration for summer will come up soon. You will have to re-register for those of you who want to come back. It's the same process. If you know you've done Kickstart this time, you have to register again when we put up these spring forms. They'll be up in the next, probably after we come back from Costa Rica.
Definitely.
So look for those in the future, and we'll let you guys know when everything's happening.
And by popular demand, Kickstand will have a book.
Yes.
There will be a book or a
PDF
available.
I didn't want to start it people that want it, because I don't want to work for nothing. So I was like, I'll ask first, because everybody says no, then I won't do it. But a lot of people said yes, so I will build that book for you guys.
So for those of you who don't know what Kickstand is, it is the in-between where you're actually putting your kickstand on, and you're not going to maybe focus on 10 commitments all the time, but you're going to focus on those commitments that you're struggling with the most, especially by the end of the 42 days, where you're going to be like, oh, wow, there's a few of them that, you know what? I really wish I could keep going with them. And sometimes if you don't have something to hold yourself accountable to, you won't have to track these on the website or anything like that. Now this is your turn to be accountable to yourself and keep those commitments that you're struggling. Maybe just 2 or 3 of them. Don't overwhelm yourself with that at that point in time. Take it slow and easy for yourself to gradually know that I can focus on just these 3 things and then keep my journey going.
Yes, and there will be a new Kickstart book for the summer. We are developing a new one, an entirely new book.
Yep.
And so you guys will get information on that when we get closer to the date.
And once again, optional. Again, we never want anyone to feel obligated whatsoever to purchase it to do the program or challenge. It is not required whatsoever. You can do without it. We have people right now doing it, and they are just as successful as anybody else.
So Kickstand is actually about approximately 6 or 7 weeks. It starts on April 24th, so the day after Kickstart ends, Kickstand begins, and it ends the week before.
Not April 24th.
February 24th.
Thank you.
And it ends on the week before, so it ends on April 20th, which is Easter. So Kickstand ends on Easter weekend, and then that's when we actually start the first week of orientation for spring, summer. And so you guys will all get this information in the future. It's all coming up. You don't need to worry about it now. But we just wanted to give you some of these announcements today. And we made another.
Yeah, we decided to do one more thing. Actually, 2 more things.
Well, we'll kind of say the history. We've been getting a lot of Epicure orders the last few days.
Yeah, like out of the blue.
Out of the blue, a lot. And we're like, why don't we just create a party? And so what we did is we created a new party We put all your orders in
Anyone who ordered
anybody
from
who already
January
ordered.
1st onwards.
Anybody who's already ordered, we put all your orders in this party. And so anyone who orders throughout Kickstart out of Epicure shop will be entered in a contest to win prizes from Epicure at the end. Just like we did in December of last year. We're going to run it throughout the entire thing. We felt, there's so many orders coming in. We don't want the free stuff. So we just decided, let's just put it all into a party.
Yeah, and
So,
give it back to the community.
yeah,
It's our way to pay back, you know what I mean? Paying it forward. If you order a little bit, you end up having a chance to win maybe $200 worth of free stuff and
exactly.
$50. Yes, it is available in the States. There is both a US and Canadian party open as we speak.
Exactly.
They just opened today. So anyone who's ordered in the last couple of days, we've already added you to those parties. Okay. Just to let you know. However, these are going to be longer. So we'll keep you up to date as to what the prize is growing to on a bi-weekly basis or so.
Yeah, so Carrie said she ordered last week. Yes, we had 3 orders just today. We thought let's just add it to what we do and what we've already done, and so that you guys could possibly win some prizes. We're also looking for anybody out there who wants to host a party.
And then, yeah,
if you have family and friends who think you'd love to have Epicure and you want to host a party, reach out to us.
Yes, and meaning you don't need to purchase something to host a party, right? So you could just say, "Hey guys, I'd love to host a party to my friends," and then you become the host, and then you get to benefit from the host rewards. We are also looking for people to join our team.
Yeah.
Our Epicure ambassador team. So if anybody in the Canada or US is interested on getting more information about that, just reach out to us and we can talk to you guys about that. Definitely.
That's a lot of announcements.
Oh my God.
Well, it is the weekend. We had a lot of things ruminating throughout the weekend.
It is.
So tonight we are thrilled to have a very special guest with us.
Super excited.
Paul Mack. Paul is not only a certified life coach, but someone with an inspiring story and a unique perspective on life. Having lived with both partial sight and blindness, Paul has a deep understanding of overcoming obstacles, and he uses his personal journey to help others see the world through a different lens. As the father of a 19-year-old son with multiple challenges, Paul is passionate about coaching others to become their best selves and create a better world for everyone. He is a certified goal coach, happiness coach, and life purpose coach. Is also an active member of the Accessibility Advisory Board. Tonight, Paul will share his insights into coaching, followed by a brief guided meditation to help us focus and clear our minds. After that, we'll open the floor for a Q&A, so don't hesitate to ask your questions in chat. And yes, Jen said in chat, Epicure has free shipping for the next 3 days. From the 20th to the 23rd, it's free shipping over $75. Just thought I'd let you know. And now anything you want to add, hon, before I bring
No,
Paul
that's
up?
it. I'd rather bring Paul up.
Hi, Paul.
Oh,
good evening.
good evening, sir.
How are you guys?
Doing well, thank you. It's been a busy weekend, but yet relaxing at the same time. How about yourself?
I'm good. I'm good. So yes, I am Paul Mack. I am, oh, by the way, just to get to this before I forget, I don't know, maybe you always do this, but I request that people try not to hang out in the chat while we're talking because I'm blind, I use a screen reader, and I wasn't quite able to mute all the settings. So every time somebody
right now.
Okay, perfect. Yeah.
So for tonight,
And you won't be
everybody,
hearing my screen reader yammering.
if you have any questions, just raise your hand and we'll make sure we get your questions. But we'll have a Q&A after. So Paul, we're actually just going to start off and we have a first question to ask you. So can you tell us more about yourself and your journey and what your experience like being a individual who is blind, how it's shaped you as a person and your coaching?
Okay. What a simple, straightforward question.
Always.
Okay, so let's see. I was born partially sighted, with just my able to see out of my left eye, a few feet away. And my first big challenge was in 1999 at 29 years old, after spending 29 years getting used to being to the level of sight that I had. My retina detached, and within they did surgery to repair it, but within a few weeks I was totally blind. And let me tell you how little of something you have to begin with. You lose that little bit, and it's a big adjustment. So, so that was a big challenge to deal with. Um, and because anytime surgery is stressful, and then just dealing with realizing that I was losing my vision and how am I going to deal with that. And then um, I started getting guide dogs. I got a guide dog in 2001. And even that was an adjustment, um, because I had used a white cane in the past, but just kind of, accepting, okay, now I need this other thing to level the playing field. Um, and I definitely went through a rough patch. I went through a stretch where I was very much stayed to myself. I didn't want to interact with people because I didn't want to deal with, with their reaction to me, and, you know, and trying to make them more comfortable. Um, but one thing that really helped was in 2015, and this is that I choose to look at this as something where my blindness actually led to an improvement in my life, because what happened was, because I was blind, I wanted to swim at the local Jewish Community Center, and so I arranged to get to get a volunteer swim guide, basically someone who would swim beside me and kind of make sure that I didn't smack into the wall or anything. And it happened that, I got talking to him and we got to be friends, and he started telling me about this group that he belonged to. Um, a men's group called MDI. I'll just give them a little free advertising. And to make a long story short, that really helped me. I mean, putting aside for the moment the fact that it identifies itself as a men's group, um, it really, I mean, the first thing I noticed was just that old thing about, that it can be such a big step, just realizing that whatever issues you're dealing with, that you're not alone. You know what I mean? There
Mm-hmm.
are other people out there. And so, sitting in a room with men, saying, well, I didn't know how to be a man. I don't know how to cry in public. I don't know how to, this or that. It was like, oh, okay, maybe men aren't so bad, like this, and feeling part of a group.
I love that. That's fantastic that you were able to actually find a community, because I think that's what we
Yeah.
are. We really encourage people to find a community of like-minded people, or people that you can relate to. So by finding that community yourself, you were able to start feeling more
Yep.
confident in your ability of traversing this world with the challenges that you still have, but knowing that you had people supporting you.
Yep. And it was a group that was so inclusive and accepting. They would always find, whenever there was some visual game that we were doing, some visual activity, they would go out of their way to, let's be creative about how to level the playing field for Paul. Um, and that was great.
So just to clarify, this was not a
Mhm.
group for other gentlemen or other men who might be blind as well. This was just a men's
No.
group in general that invited you into their community and accepted you for who you were.
Yep. Yep. Absolutely.
That's amazing. That is
Absolutely.
absolutely amazing. I love hearing things like that because, as all of you know, I am a sign language interpreter myself. And so, I even hate to say adapting because that's not the word, but accommodating or making things accessible without having to think about it or even just doing it by design, right? That's one of the
Right.
things that people with disabilities would like. It's like saying, I hope you don't mind me giving this example. It's like saying, okay, you have this beautiful building, right? The architect is building this gorgeous building, but yet the building's ready to cut the ribbon at their opening ceremony, and they go, "Oh, wait a minute here, we forgot to put the elevator in." And then all of a sudden, they're trying to fit an elevator into a building.
We see that a lot in Toronto in our subway
It does,
stations.
unfortunately, right? So thinking like that, thinking ahead of time about how we can always be inclusive before we even need to be inclusive. So I love that, Paul. That's fantastic that you met that you were part of that group.
Yep. Yep. It's or the term that I like that I got from the blind community is that it's about creating a culture of accessibility. So
I love it.
yeah, as you say, it's just like imagine a world where it just kind of where just naturally, anytime something is being designed, it's designed with people's widely varying abilities in mind.
Exactly, exactly.
So
So,
if I can, sorry, if I can just get quickly back to just
of
finish off
course,
my story,
of
my
course.
journey. Yeah, so I started kind of coming out of my shell in the men's group, and then I think um, it was probably COVID that did it. Speaking of finding advantages in quote unquote negative things, um, that I started hearing about how people were struggling and there was this burgeoning world of life coaching. And I had always struggled. I'd always been interested in psychology and the idea of doing some kind of therapy, but I had just long story, but I just hadn't been able to get there academically. But
Mhm.
I thought, okay, if I can, but I always had this passion, like when I'd be trying to help friends with issues, whether it was whatever was holding them back, I would get really passionate about it, and I started thinking, hey, what if this was an avenue through life coaching where I could help people and make a difference in their lives, and that's how I am where I am today.
Love that. That's amazing. I think that's so cool that you decided to continue with your passion and find a way to make it a part of your life, right? Like really, even if it wasn't like you said, you couldn't do it going in the formal way, but you still found a way to say, I'm going to be able to help people. So what is something like you say, if I'm not mistaken, you have a son, if I'm not mistaken, as well. He's
Yes.
19 years old. And so being a father, how does that influence you in your coaching in that sense? Like, has that changed the way you coach a little bit or
Um, I'm sure it has. Um, I mean, I try to keep it, I try to keep it separate. Sometimes it can
Mhm.
be hard not to go into coach mode, when, in situations like, with a child, where it's not going to work. Um, but I think it has, I think where it's helped me. Sorry, I'm just trying to collect my thoughts how to put this. But um, I it's helped me in both directions because from the coming from coaching to parenting, it's definitely given me ideas, like, okay, I have to approach this a little differently than I would with a client, but I can talk to my son about the, like for example, one of the things that I learned in my training. I mean, I sort of knew this implicitly, anyway, but what was reinforced in the training was the idea of, and this is very relevant, I think, to what to this program that you guys are and what you guys have been talking about, which is that for me that the idea that quote unquote failure is good because that's how you learn. And so that's I've taken that learning from my coaching training and what I tell clients and use that with my son. That because he gets very down on himself and he he loves to call himself oh I didn't do that right because I'm stupid, I'm this, I'm that. Like, no, it's just this is as long as you learn from what happened, um, to try, to improve yourself. That's, I mean, if you never fail, how are you going to learn?
I
Oh,
love that.
I love that, Paul. That
That's
is,
exactly what we're talking about
oh,
when the session started tonight. It's not about perfection; it's about learning from this, and that's exactly. I love that.
and we're firm
Yeah,
believers that things are never perfect.
yeah,
We are firm believers that
Except
things are
Mary
never perfect,
Poppins,
except for Mary
which is
Poppins.
practically perfect.
So
right.
you talk about, how do I say it? What is your tagline that you talk about when you're providing your coaching? There's a tagline that you use and I can't think of it right now. I apologize. Because you see things in a different way. So how does that apply in your coaching? Like when someone approaches you and you become their coach, how do you see things differently than everybody else? And how does that?
Well, first of all, I mean, if you're thinking of the name for my coaching, which is I call it out of sight into mind. I mean, it's on a few different levels there. Obviously, the sight thing and the idea that I just see things differently. I mean, not to sound arrogant, but I do believe that one of the advantages of my blindness is that it allows me to not get caught up in the superficial visual stuff and kind of see at a quote unquote higher level.
Mhm.
Um, and then the into mind is the idea that I believe that everything comes from within. Everything's about our own mind. Like the idea that we can't control external things. We can only control what's inside ourselves and how we react to people. It always comes back to what's in our mind and the whole mindset thing, like how we think about things. Again, if I can use this program as an example, I think that I mean, the commitments are great, um, but I think that um, like for example, when you if you have a bad day. Um, it's about it's about how you respond to it, but there's a deeper level of why did I why did I not achieve what I wanted to achieve? What's going on with my mindset? Um, or think of it as the way, we talk about, how like you take something for a cold and but you know that you're treating this, you're not treating the actual problem as much as you're treating the symptoms. So I think that it's one thing to treat the symptom, which may be not struggling to lose weight or whatever it is. But if you can go deeper to in that, I think that more likely than not, there's a sort of a general pattern in one's mindset that leads to symptoms like getting really hard on oneself and or inability to lose weight the way one wants. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it definitely makes sense. 100%. Actually leads us into our next question that we have for you. So, what is a tip that you can offer our community when they're trying to achieve these commitments that we've asked them to do? What is one thing that might help them feel like they can stick to it?
Um, well, one mantra that I use all the time with people with clients is 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 2 steps forward and 1 step back is still 1 step forward.
Mm.
And in other words, like look, there are gonna be anytime you have a hard goal, something that you've struggled with for a long time in your life. Like it's gonna be hard. There's gonna be good days and bad days. There's gonna be days where you slip back down the hill a little bit, and that's okay because and it kind of ties in with the whole idea, why people like the shape up because if you can focus on the overall trend and not get caught up in oh man, I really didn't keep my commitments today. I blew it. I'm stupid. I'm this. I'm that. That's when you get into that. And instead of focusing on, well, where am I compared to where I was a few weeks ago, or even if I'm not losing weight yet, where is my mindset? Am I feeling confident? Am I feeling, I can still feel like I can do this. If I'm patient with myself, I can do this. And actually, the other thing that I was saying to some people earlier today that I think if I had to boil my whole coaching approach down to just one phrase, it would be your own best friend. And that might be a little bit of a cliche, but for me, it doesn't just mean like that. What was that character on Saturday Night Live that was always, I'm good enough, I'm
Oh my
smart
God.
enough, and God darn it.
God
No,
darn it.
it's not just that. It's also being compassionate with yourself, but it's also being firm with yourself and holding yourself accountable. So I think with this example from this program, and actually someone was telling me about a post on here earlier, and I think they said that I think you responded to it about, oh, I had a bad day, and now I'm back into, all these thoughts about these negative thoughts about myself. Um, yeah, I think the way to be one's own best friend in that kind of situation, like, well, think about it. Like, what would you do? Like, I always tell people, when they start getting down on themselves, like, if your best friend was talking like this, what would you say to them? And they're like,
It would
oh.
be your friend.
Well, but what I mean is, like, you would say stuff like, hey, snap out of it, but like not in a putting them down way, but like, hey, I, you, yeah, you had a bad day, but don't do this to yourself. You're better than this. Snap out of it and get back on track, kind of thing. Um, while well, at the same time, again, being com being compassionate,
100%.
right?
We don't give ourselves enough grace, I feel sometimes. I feel we're our own worst critic and enemy, right?
Yep.
We are our own self-saboteur in that sense because it's so hard to talk nicely to ourselves because like you just said, Paul, we can talk nice to other people and let them feel good about what they're doing and what they're accomplishing, but we can never see what we accomplish ourselves.
Right, right, and that leads into another thing I was going to say about I mean it's easier said than done, and it's cliche, but know yourself because another thing that 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 I imagine everybody says to their best friend or hears from their best friend all the time is is oh no, I know you. If I let you go back home now, you're gonna have another drink or whatever it is. I mean, and that's what that person needs. They need someone who knows them and knows how to keep them on track. So the more you know yourself, the more you can say, for example, to use the eating example, the more you can say okay, I'm struggling with, I had another day where I didn't keep to my commitments about eating, but okay, what do I know about myself and about the way my life is going? Oh, I think it's that I come home from work really stressed, and the only thing I can think of to comfort myself is to have a giant bag of chips, right? Like, and so, okay, so what I need to do to combat that is, maybe if I can come up with other things that I can do to comfort myself.
I love that. That's exactly it. Is finding other ways or finding ways to make sure that you're not, sabotaging yourself in the sense that you're finding different ways of getting the results that you want to see.
And we hope that's what, like, we're trying to change that narrative in people's mind. We see people
Yeah.
posting in the group and we try to encourage and say, hey, you still did 5, or you still did, you're still here trying to do something. You're not just saying, oh, screw this and just throw the book
Yeah.
away and you're done with this. It's that any step is worth something in the long run. Exactly what you said. 2 steps forward, 1 step back.
Yeah.
Opposites
Yeah.
attract.
I was thinking Paula Abdul.
Yeah. 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 Because again, I mean, we use the term all the time, offhandedly, but it is a journey.
It is definitely a journey. So in your bio, we did mention that you are a happiness. I want to make sure I'm using the correct. It's a happiness. You focus on happiness. Let me see here.
Life purpose.
Happiness coaching and then life purpose. Can you give us like
Yeah.
some idea of the difference between the two types of coaching that you offer?
Well, actually, there are a few. I'm certified in a few coaching techniques: happiness, life purpose coaching, goal coaching. That's a big one. Um, I don't know if this will seem totally alien to this crowd, but working on goals is very popular. It's I mean, that's where I end up anytime that
Shocking.
I've done that I've worked with clients, they a lot of what they want to do is around the goals. But that's good because I love working on that. I love trying to help people with, because again, it's I really believe, that a lot has to go into it. You can't just take an hour workshop on SMART goals and say, okay, I got this now. Like I said, you have to look at what are my patterns, what kind of mindset am I going in to this, exactly what results do I want from this and why? Because again, that's another thing that I see all the time, um, that people, how do I put it? Like, people fall off the wagon, and they don't realize that it's because they're just they're not doing it for the right reasons. Like, if they when
Mm.
they really look at it, it's like, well, yeah, I want to, like, I want it's something external. It's something to connected to a need for approval or validation, right?
And
And
it's funny you say that, Paul, because we've shared this a lot in our journey. When we started losing weight consistently in 2018, our why changed. Remember, we used to say we wanted to look good for our wedding. We wanted to fit in certain clothing. That was the original reasons we wanted to lose weight, and we never succeeded.
We
It's
wanted people to look at us differently.
Yeah. And when we actually lost weight in 2018, it's because we changed the reason why we're doing this. Our goal was no longer to look a certain way. It was because we wanted to live a long life together. So when you really
right.
change and figure out why are you doing this, what's the purpose behind this, it'll lead you to then really want to work. That's why us coming back this year is because we still want to work at this. We could have easily said screw this and just given up and not done Kickstarter and just sat on our butts
Yeah.
eating puts in all year, because I could easily do that.
This is the kind of situation where, as I also always tell people, that there are times when it's okay to be selfish, to put yourself first,
Amen.
where you have to put yourself first. And this is one of those times where, yeah, like, and I'll tell you right now, if you're going to be one of whoever's out there, if you're going to be one of my clients, I'm going to be compassionate, but I'm going to be, or actually, the term that I got from my men's group that I love is ruthless compassion. I'm gonna be tough. I'm gonna say, I'm gonna say, hey, do this for yourself. Be selfish. Do this because like, unless you're doing it just for you, because you want it for you, and and you believe that you deserve it, it's
Amen.
not going to work.
You know what? I couldn't agree more, because a lot of times we think we're selfish when we do things for ourselves, but we're not being selfish. We're actually being selfless, because we need to take care of ourselves before we can take care of anybody else, right?
Exactly.
Again, that
Exactly.
analogy of the oxygen mask in an airplane,
Yep.
right? We talk about this all
Yep.
the time because it makes sense. If you're on a plane and it's crashing and you put you put the mask on everybody else, what about you?
Well, you won't get to everybody.
Yeah, then
Yeah,
you
you won't even
pass
get
out.
to everybody else. You'll pass out. Exactly, exactly.
Yeah,
So
and you can't take care of the people that you're trying to take care of. Yeah.
So, what has been the most rewarding aspect of this life coaching work that you've been doing?
I can tell you it might sound corny, but the most honest answer is that the most rewarding thing is when I'm working with a client and they sort of and I say something and they're like, oh, I never thought of it that way, but you're right. Thank you, Paul. Thank you for saying that. That really makes it, just hearing that that kind of that moment in their voice. I
Yeah.
can hear in their voice that, that slow smile where they start to get it and they start to realize that they can see a path to being their best self, to being the person they want to be.
I love that you just said, I can hear their smile.
Yep.
that's cool.
I love that you said that,
Yeah.
Paul, because it's so true.
Yeah.
You can hear people smile. You
Yep.
can absolutely hear people smile. And that is so a lot of times us as people who can see, we take so many things for granted. We do,
Yep.
we do. And so I just want to thank you, first of all, Paul, for being here, because this has been fantastic. It's been enlightening for me. I love talking to other coaches. Um, I love the fact that you're really good. You're a really good friend of ours' husband. If those of you who don't know, Nisha and Paul are married. So Nisha, who is part of this
She's
group,
right there.
she's right there. Look at that. She's on the screen.
As the head pops in.
As the head, I'm right here. And we love both of them dearly, and we are so happy that Paul agreed to coming to talk about his experience with coaching, because again, it's very different than ours, right?
And I actually want to ask one last thing, Paul. How can people find you? Like, if people really are looking to, they need a life coach and they want to search, how would they find you?
Well, the best way to begin the connection is well, two ways. You can contact me by email. Um, I believe my lovely assistant sent you the email address,
Yes,
and then
I'll post
the
it.
uh, the
I'll post it.
Calendly
Yes.
link as well. So you can
Yes.
go on Calendly and
Tell them about the discovery calls. Well,
right. Yeah. Yes, dear. Yes, dear. That's what I'm getting. But yeah, what I offer is called discovery calls, where I'll connect with you for free for a half hour or so, and we can talk about, like, is this a good fit? What are you looking for? How can what's possible here? What can I offer you? What might things look like if we work together? And then you decide. So
That's
there's no pressure.
I love that. So
We'll make sure that we share Paul's
I'm doing it
information
right now.
in the group and as well in the chat right now, so everybody can have that and write it down.
So I just posted it in chat right now.
And I do know too that you had asked, you wanted to do an actual self guided meditation with all of us, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes, yes, I would love that.
We would love
I
it
Sure,
too.
love it too.
because I decided that, I mean, what would be a better challenge than trying to do guided meditation over Zoom in front of 700 people? Yeah, what could be more fun? So,
Why not? And you're facing your fears right now, so I love it. There's
yep,
only 89 people in the room right now, so you're safe. But there's
Other online.
others online watching. You're good. You're good.
right,
You've
awesome.
been awesome.
Okay, so well, luckily I can't see my fears, so that makes it easier. Um, All right, let's give this a try. So, just give me 1 second to hydrate myself. Yes, there's my biggest coaching advice for all of you. Keep hydrating. Okay, so everyone find a comfortable position. Um, uh, Assuming that you're not driving a motor vehicle currently or anything. So get comfortable. And the first thing that I'd like you to do, as soon as you feel like you're in a very comfortable position, I want to do some deep breathing. Excuse me. But what I want you to do is take a take a breath, like inhale for about 3 seconds, and then what you're going to do is you're gonna let the breath out as slowly as you can. And let's do that a couple of times. So breathe in, 2, 3, and now let the breath out as slowly and as controlled as you can. In, slowly breathe out. Okay, so I'll pause while you do that a couple more times. Okay, now what we're going to do is we're going to focus on becoming fully aware of your body, connecting to your inner awareness. So first thing I want you to do is just take a moment to just wiggle your toes around a little bit and just focus on how it feels to be aware of your toes. All that you need to focus on is my voice and your toes. Now, what we're going to do is I want you now to think about an emotion or a state of being that you would really like to feel all the time, or at least all next week. Maybe it's courage, maybe it's compassion for myself, whatever it is, just think about that state of being, that emotion, and now imagine that emotion as a warm liquid. And this warm liquid that is that emotion that you want to achieve more consistently is going to start in your toes, and it's going to gradually flow up the inside of your body through your calves and your knees and your upper legs. Take your time. Just feel that, be very aware and connected to that warm liquid of positive emotion that's flowing up your body. Now it's through your stomach, your chest, and your shoulders, up through your head, and give you a few seconds. And once you feel like that warm liquid of positive feeling, positive way of being, you can feel it through the inside of your entire body, like your whole body is just skin covering that positive feeling. And just, I'm going to tell you a little story. And just while you're listening, just imagine yourself observing the story that I'm telling you and just being with that feeling of your entire body being that positive emotion way of being. So once upon a time, there was a farmer, and one day he decided to enter his favorite horse in a competition, and the horse won. The horse won the blue ribbon. And so you're seeing, and what you're seeing is all his friends and neighbors and family rushing to his side, saying, "Oh my God, this is awesome! Congratulations! This is amazing! That you must feel so wonderful." But all the farmer does is look at them and say, "Who knows what is good and what is bad?" And they look at each other like, what is he smoking? What is he talking about? Okay. And they go away. Well, the next day, that horse that won the blue ribbon is stolen by bandits. They ride off with his horse. And the friends and neighbors come back. "Oh my God, you poor guy. I can't believe this happened to you. What are you going to do? This is awful." And all he does is look back at them and say, "Who knows what is good and what is bad?" And they walk away shaking their heads, like, how can he say that? Well, the next day, who shows up but the horse? The horse escaped, found his way back, and and brought with him a whole bunch of mares. And so now the farmer has all these horses, all these mares, and he can breed them. And so again, they come, they come rushing over to his place. That this is wonderful, this is amazing. I can't believe this happened to you. This is awesome. And he just turns to them and says, "Who knows what is good and what is bad?" And you know what? Well, the next day, the his son, the farmer's son, is riding one of the mares, and he falls off and breaks his leg. Now, by now, the friends and neighbors and family, they know what to expect. And so they come over, but they know what's going to happen. And sure enough, they show up, and he says, "Who knows what is good and what is bad?" Well, the next day, the emperor shows up from the big city because there's a war that's starting and they need to draft soldiers. And he's there to take his son to be a soldier. But of course, son's leg is broken. So the emperor rides away, leaving the son behind to heal and be there for his family. So what I'd like you to do is go back to that feeling of being connected to the warm feelings that make up the inside of your body, and just think about what learning there could be in that story. And in your own time, in your own way, gradually come back to the world of the present. But make sure that you leave yourself with that feeling that you filled your body with. And what would it, think about what would it be like to spend even just the next week being one with that feeling, that way of being, and just taking every situation that happens as, who knows whether it's good or whether it's bad. Okay.
Wow, thank you, Paul. That was
Thank you for listening.
Thank you so much, Paul. That was really, really good. I really appreciated that. It's so funny how that whole analogy of allowing that emotion or that go all the way up your body. Like I just love that feeling of feeling that positivity run through our veins. A lot of times we think it's only in our heads, right? But no, we need to feel that positivity
And
everywhere.
I also love the analogy of, what is good or bad?
We don't know. Why do we? Who determines what good,
Yeah.
what good or bad is?
As if you're there, that could be good. If you're not there, that could be bad. You don't know. You don't know what the future brings with every
Yeah.
action you do. You don't know that, if last week you tried to do your commitments and you got one every day, and you're mad at yourself and you're saying, it's a bad thing. I'm so bad. But what if that 1 week leads you to do 5 weeks now in a row that are amazing because you've realized that I needed to change something, I needed to tweak something. I was busy, I was sick. It doesn't matter what happened before. It's what you do next that always matters. It's not the past. It's what you see forward. You can't change the past. You can't change what happened before. What you can do is what you do next. And I think that's what the lesson for the story for me is that farmer could have said, "Oh no, woe me! I lost my horse." But he said, "No, it's okay. I just lost my horse."
But and then he didn't lose his son either.
No, exactly.
Like it was like good things happen even when there are bad things that happen.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
thank you so much, Paul. I really, really appreciate you being here with us this evening. We love,
problem.
love chatting with you whenever we go out. You're always a hoot. You always, what's our nickname, Paul?
Jailbait. Jailbait and Nick.
Jailbait Nick. I'm jailbait, by the way. So we love to open up to if anybody has a question for Paul at all, feel free to raise your hand. I think we already have one for you. It's Matilda.
Hi, Paul. How are you?
Hi, how are you?
I'm good. Two things a couple of things. First of all, two of your quotes that you said that really kind of, the 2 steps forward, the 1 step back, and you're still 1 step ahead. I never thought of it that way. Right? It just like now that you said it, it's like I just said to Dennis right now, I'm like, oh my gosh, 2 step forwards, 1 step back, but you're still 1 step ahead.
Yep.
Right. And the other one was you have to make mistakes to learn from your mistakes. I mean, I say that quite often to our friends and other people, but when you say it, when you hear it from someone else, to me, it's like, oh, it's true.
Yeah. Yeah, if you do everything perfectly, then inevitably when something does come along, like it always does, no matter who you are, that's really tough, how are you going to be ready for it? What have you learned from perfection, from everything going smoothly to help
Exactly.
you when you need it?
Exactly. And then the other thing, while Dennis was making his lunch, I said, Dennis, Paul needs a podcast because I can listen to you forever. You need to do a podcast. Pick a topic and just do
Thank you. I will keep that in mind.
it's
Thanks,
great.
Matilda.
I just loved listening to you, and thank you for being one of our guest speakers for tonight. And hi, Nisha.
Hi, Carmen. Go ahead.
Okay, hi, Paul, Jean-Luc, and
Hi.
Nick. Love you guys. Paul, I'm sorry for the progression of your blindness. I come from a very large family. The youngest sister in my family slowly became blind at the age of 62 through a series of having COVID, then shingles, and then Bell's palsy. And she has now completely lost her sight. And she's single. And another sister who is a little bit older and single, she moved in with her. And as you said, you became very isolated. Well, my sister, the youngest one, she's really isolating herself. And the older sister who's let her moved in is really, really protective. And we could barely talk to her or call her or whatever. And I took down your information. If I could convince her to talk with you, how would that happen? How would you communicate with someone? She's blind, you're blind. How do you do that?
Well, I'm very flexible. Whatever works for me and a particular client, we can meet on the phone. I mean, obviously, if we're both blind, we don't need to see each other. Don't
Yeah.
get anything like that.
You
So
don't have to
on the
Zoom.
phone or yeah, I mean, just for everybody. I mean, once we connect, we can do Zoom, we can do WhatsApp, we can do,
Yeah.
whatever works depending on
And I don't
my,
even know, Paul, if she'd be open. So my question is, what helped you get out of your isolation?
what, sorry, say that again?
What helped you become
Yeah.
less isolated?
Well, like I said, uh when I joined, well, I think first, um when I connected with that swim guide, I mean, inevitably we ended up kind of chatting, through the, changing and whatever, through the process, and that really reminded me, like, oh, I do know how to be friends with somebody and chit chat with them and just have fun. And then when I joined that group, that showed me that no, I don't need to be afraid of sighted people, even
Yeah.
groups of people. I can sit in a group of people and feel connected and part of it.
Yeah. Okay. And then with your story, it was so amazing just listening to the story of that could be, who knows, that could be good or that could be bad. When the horse came back with all the mares, the farmer could have said, oh, no, now I got to feed all these mares. That's
Yeah,
bad. Or he could have said, oh, that's great. I can sell these mares and get more equipment on my farm. So there's always
right.
a good, so there's so many scenarios to your story. It was really
Yeah.
interesting. Thank
And
you so
that
much.
was the gist of thank you. And that was the gist of my telling, my journey as well. Like the message was because I mean I didn't go into all the details, but I mean I could tell you like just that how when I went blind and got to the point where I went to guide dog school for the first time, um, I met my future wife, which seemed great, but then it turned out to not be the right person, and there was a whole custody battle and stuff. But even that, I can't feel like that was a bad thing because I ended up with Colin, with my son, which I wouldn't have, obviously, had I not been gone through that situation. And honestly, even the blindness, I mean look, I don't believe anybody who says, would say that, blindness is, was all totally wonderful. It's in many ways it sucks. I'm not going to deny that. There have been very tough days, tough years, but I'm in so many ways, I'm honestly glad it happened because it's molded a lot of who I am. Who knows if I'd be the person I am and be so passionate about giving back to the world and making a difference if I hadn't gone through what I went through. Or just, and I'll tell you this, if any of you haven't done this already, find somewhere that you're comfortable and happy, like up at a cottage or in nature, and just take a moment, close your eyes, and just be just listen to your other senses and just experience, and until you've experienced what the universe can offer you when you're out in nature and there's nothing visual to distract you from what's really going on. That's
I was just gonna say I love that, Paul. I think that's so important. We are so, as people who have sight or hearing, we take things for granted. I said that earlier. We really do take things for granted. So taking those moments and really disconnecting from that world of having to see, feel, hear, touch, and really zoning in with yourself. It's so
You guys can
important.
see Peru and Maui are friends again.
Finally.
After 2 or 3 days of no friendship, they're back together. They're getting along again. So
again,
what
Paul, thank you so much for being here tonight
yes.
with us. We've shared your information in the chat. We'll make sure
And
that
the
it's in the
Facebook
group
is
as
already
well.
there.
Nick already shared it in the group for everybody as well. So feel free to look out for Paul. Send him more questions if you'd like. I'm via email or either on Instagram as well. Again, Paul, we can't thank you enough for being here with us tonight. It was amazing. You did such a great job, and we're so happy and proud to not only call you a partner in crime when it comes to coaching, but also a friend.
Well, I that means a lot to me, and just don't, in closing, just don't forget, I do offer coaching to cats. It costs a little extra, but if your cats are having issues, I'd be happy to sit down with them and
They're
see
good
what's
now. They're good.
blocking them from being their true selves.
Thanks, Paul.
Maui just turned around. We might need some coaching, Paul. We'll reach out.
All right,
Thanks.
sounds good. Thanks, guys.
Thanks again, Paul.
Have a good night.
So we want to thank everyone for joining us this evening. Love having guests. This is why we did this. We love different perspectives. We can we talk all the time. So you guys hear us all the time anyways, but it's nice hearing from other perspectives of things that other people are going through in their own life. And we're not done. We have more guests coming.
Oh, it's not done yet.
So next Tuesday.
Oh, it's only week one.
I know.
Week one's only done. On Tuesday, we have Sylvie.
Falardo.
Is it Falardo? Okay, Sylvie Falardo will be with
daughter
us.
of Linda.
Linda, who's in the room
here.
right now.
She's right here.
And Sylvie is actually going to be making a recipe for us and then talking about organizing your kitchen.
Yes, organizing your kitchen.
Ways to organize your kitchen. She said she's going to share a quick little recipe with us at the beginning and then talk about containers and all sorts of stuff when I'm gonna like, yeah, nice kitchen. I can't wait.
I love organizing.
You do too. Yes, definitely.
And then on Thursday this week, we're going to be in the kitchen again. We are making takeout. We're making chicken balls, chicken fried quinoa, and veggie. Well, I'm not making it. He's making it. Veggie spring rolls. So our Thursday this
and there was an extra thing I'm adding, which is the cheesecake spring rolls as well.
Yes. So we're going to be doing dessert spring rolls as well.
Yeah, dessert spring rolls as well.
Then next Sunday there is no session.
Nope.
We are off to Costa Rica this Saturday.
We're going to be on a catamaran at that time.
So we are flying to Costa Rica. Do not worry. We're actually bringing our Shaper with us.
Yep.
We will be doing the challenge every day from Costa Rica and filming it live and then
in the
sharing
lobby.
or wherever we're at at a resort. We'll still be doing our challenge and we'll still be commenting on your posts. The hotel we're going at has Wi-Fi. We are away some days, so some days you might wait for a while for us to respond because we're going to be on excursions. We're going to a volcano. We're going to see animals. We're going on a catamaran trip. So
and apparently at the resort itself, they do like a tour with
wilderness tour.
Yeah, and there's maybe alligators sanctuary and a bird sanctuary and howler monkeys. So,
and we will be live Wednesday January 29th at
7 p.m. your
Eastern
time,
6
6 p.m.
p.m. our time. So we will be on the Wednesday night from Costa Rica. And then we come back on Sunday, February 2nd. We'll be back with another show. And that one's Introduction to ASL. So
Ooh.
American Sign Language. So we have a guest coming, one of our friends, Nancy, coming to teach introduction to American Sign Language, and also, just this is Jean-Luc's career, what he's been doing for 20 years. So it was fun we've always had people request to have that kind of session, so we're actually making it happen.
And the best way to learn is from another deaf person, right? So that's exactly why we're bringing Nancy here, because she is deaf and she loves teaching people about her culture and her language. So
we'll end the live stream. We'll stay in Zoom and let you guys undo the chat so you guys can send us questions. And we'll see you all tomorrow morning for Step
6:30.
6:30.
Be there
We
or
woke
be
up-
square.